Hello, aspirants. Very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all to IAS Icons by Unacademy. This is Shubham Sardhalia. I request you all to join the class at the earliest so that we can start with our today's discussion. We have been discussing about NCERT classes. I am taking up with you NCERTs chapter wise because NCERTs at times become the most confusing part for a UPSC aspirant. I come across many aspirants who have this doubt that said how to proceed with the NCERTs, how to read those NCERTs. So, bringing an end to all your confusions with the help of these classes, we will be covering each and every NCERT starting from class 6th up till class 12th. We'll be discussing them chapter wise, and I'll ensure that everything that is important from exams perspective, we are doing it well in depth. I request you all to join the class at the earliest. Before we proceed further, I just want to tell you that if you are a UPSC aspirant, if you are joining this class because you want to qualify UPSC examination, you need to start your preparation with India's largest learning platform, that is Unacademy. We at Unacademy offer you widest choice of educators. You get flexibility to change your course. You can watch our lectures unlimited times. You get regular doubt solving sessions. We provide you printed comprehensive notes. You get end-to-end preparation, live mentorship, daily answer writing practice. With the help of all these things under the guidance of top educators of the country whom you see on your screen, you will be prepared in a manner that when you go and appear in the examination, there is nothing left unread. So tomorrow when you appear in the UPSC examination, you have covered each and everything, and ultimately that will lead you to qualifying this examination. My name is Shubham Sardhalia. I'm your educator and mentor in this UPSC preparation. Friends, I just want to tell you that Unacademy is bringing for you Unacademy Ultra Combat that is scheduled for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. You should enroll with us into this gamified contest. Here you will be asked certain questions based on UPSC syllabus. This will be a live test. You can participate in this test on our Android app and on the website also. So if you get a good rank, you can say, if you secure a good rank, you get the chance to win exciting prizes like MacBook, iPad, mobile, smartwatch, headphones, and apart from that, we are giving you Amazon gift vouchers and scholarship worth 25 crores. So you can get a chance to win scholarship and exciting prizes just before Diwali to make your Diwali more grand, and above all to make your preparation even better with the help of Unacademy. Sir, we at Unacademy are bringing for you 9-month plus GS subscription. As you know that for the prelims of 2023, we are just 9 months behind. So in next 9 months, we'll be covering things in detail. So expert faculty by Unacademy, we all will ensure that next 9 months you prepare for the examination such a manner that you are able to qualify it. You can opt for this course at just rupees 45,000 using this code IAS Icons. Just like GS, we are offering you the CSAT course also. You can opt for CSAT course only at rupees 8,999 if you use this code IAS Icons. Both these prices will be applicable if you use the code IAS Icons and enroll by 24th of October. So for all those people who are appearing in the examination in 2023, this will be like one stop solution for your preparation. You will be doing the preparation with us and ultimately qualifying this examination. We are bringing for you Unacademy Compete, Unacademy Civil Services Championship. You can opt for 0% EMI, where we are giving you the entire course at no extra cost. If you wish to pay the entire amount in small monthly installments, you enroll with us in our mains test series. In the recent UPSC examination, 57 out of 79 questions in UPSC mains were from our Unacademy test series. So get your chance, enroll with us, start preparing, and at the earliest possible time qualify this examination, serve the nation as a bureaucrat. So guys, coming to our discussion. So all those who have joined me for the first time, I just want to tell you that we have been discussing NCERTs uh, for various subjects like geography, history, polity. We are covering the NCERT starting from class 6 to 12th. If you come across any strategy that is being told to you, you must have gone through various topper interviews, you must have gone through videos by various educators. Everybody is seen telling you that you need to read NCERTs from 6 to 12th. When it comes to reading NCERTs, at times students get confused that how to read them, do we need to memorize them? So all these questions become really important and are to be answered. So I'll try to answer all your questions related to NCERTs, and I'll make sure that all the NCERTs are covered in depth in detail. We have already covered NCERTs for the subject geography for class 6. you can go on to this channel IAS Icons. There you will find a separate playlist for NCERT of geography, 6th class NCERT we discussed over there. Today we'll be starting our discussion for class 7th NCERT chapter number 1. The book looks something like this. It says our environment, geography textbook for class 7. The first chapter here is environment. So we'll be talking about environment. All those who have joined me, can you please tell me what do you understand by the term environment? What we know about environment? Have we ever heard this term environment? We'll talk about all these things in detail. uh, I received requests from certain students in the previous classes. Earlier I was giving you summarized notes of the entire NCERT, but I received requests from certain students. They wanted me to read this NCERT textbooks first. So from these classes onwards, what we'll be doing, I'll be reading up the NCERTs for you, and then we'll be going to the summarized portion. Then I'll be giving you the summary. So how this that will be done, I'll just show you. We will start from our NCERTs. So we'll first of all we'll read the NCERTs, and then what we'll do is we'll go to the summarized notes which we need to remember. See, we need not to read or we need not to memorize each and everything that is written in the NCERTs, but in order to have an overview, we will be doing it like this. So this is the first chapter of our class 7th NCERT, which says environment. So what is environment? In anything happening around us, anything that is around us, we call it as what? We call it as an environment. So when you open NCERT chapter 1 for class 7th, you see text like this. We straight away will ignore these all these stories. They are just written to make students understand that there were a group of students who were going somewhere, so they started looking at things around. We'll come here to the things that are important from exams perspective. So what is environment? Environment is a basic life support system. What is life support system? Life is when we are living, we are breathing, we are doing our daily work, we are doing our daily course. Everything that is associated with us is something which brings us to life. And the most important component what we require, sir, we breathe in air, we have drink water, we eat food, we require land to live. All these things together, they form the basic life support system. That is what is known as environment. So air we breathe in, food we eat, water we drink, the land on which we stay, all these things are environment. So there are certain things which form this whole environment. Everything that we see around us is our environment. We require environment for our everyday purposes. If we want to sustain our life on this earth, we need environment. But gradually we humans are damaging this environment. We are doing such activities, for example the car fumes or pollute the air, the disposal from factories pollute water. In that way we are harming this environment also. So we'll try to understand. So what happens is, going by this diagram, environment is anything and everything that you see around yourself. The moment you open your eyes, the moment you step out of your house, each and everything that you see around yourself are the components of environment. Environment is broadly divided into two components. One is the natural environment, other is the human made or man made environment. Are you following it what I am trying to tell you? So we have two components of the environment. One is the natural environment and other is the human made environment. What comes in natural environments are three major things: land, water and air, the basic requirements of life. So atmosphere, what we call air is included in atmosphere, water is included in hydrosphere, land is included in lithosphere, and all these three things together give birth to life. That is what is known as biosphere. Then we have human made environment. We look around ourselves, we find buildings, we find parks, we find bridges, roads, industries, monuments, etc. Then in environment we have humans also. We humans are also the part of environment. So we see, we as one are individual, group of individuals form a family, group of families form a community. Then there are certain social, economic and political things happening around us. So the major thing that we need to understand here is that environment is of two types: natural and man-made. Everything related to environment that is living. What is living? That something that breathes in, something that has a span of life, that won't go beyond that particular span of life, that eats food, that drinks water, that consumes something, that is breathing. All these things, they are known as the living component of environment, and we call it as what? Biotic. Biotic term comes from life. So we'll discuss about it in the notes also. Bio term is related to life. So biotic things are the living components of our environment. So anything around us in the environment, see, I told you everything around us is the environment. So in this, everything that is around us, whatsoever is living, whatsoever is breathing, whatsoever is eating, whatsoever it is drinking, is a living component, and hence it is the biotic component of environment. Simultaneously, we have certain things like we have land, we have stones, we have mountains. These are non-living components. You will never see a stone drinking water. You will never see this mountain asking for a glass of water. So all these components which are non-living, they are known as what? Biotic factors. All these biotic and abiotic factors together make this environment. So land, water, air, plants, animals, they comprise our natural environment. Then there are certain parts. What are these? You must have heard of lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. So the major requirement first of all was the land. We required land to live in. So we are living on this earth, on the hard part of this earth, that is land. So the component that includes land in itself is known as what? It is known as lithosphere. So lithosphere includes the ground on which we stay. It includes the mountains, the plains, the plateaus, the valleys, etc. Even ocean floors, they all are the part of lithosphere. Remember, not ocean but ocean floors. Then lithosphere helps us in various ways, like it provides forests, it provides us grasslands, it helps us in agriculture, it helps to sustain human settlements. Then we have the domain of water, where everything related water is included. That is what is known as hydrosphere. So we see various water bodies around us. These water bodies can be as big as a Pacific Ocean, or as small as small as a pond. So all these, be it your rivers, your lake, your seas, your oceans, your ponds, these all components which include water in it are known as hydrosphere. So we required land, we had lithosphere. We required water, we have hydrosphere. And the third thing that we required was air, the layer of gases which include oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen. All these layers or all these gases together form something known as atmosphere. So our three basic requirements, land, water, and air, are fulfilled by earth through lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. We need to understand that in order for the life to be possible, we require all these things together. It's not that at one place we have land and water and we do not have air, so life won't be possible. So for any place, life will possible only be if there is the conjunction, there is the junction of these three things. What are these three things? So these three things are your land, water, and air. Where all these three things together exist, that particular region, that particular area will support life. And life is what we call as biosphere. I told you in the starting also, biotic and abiotic component. Bio is related to life. So the junction of all these three, lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere, together give birth to life. And that region where life is possible, we call it as what? We call it as biosphere. So we have hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere, and the junction of these three give rise to life. We call it as biosphere. Moving on to, there is another term known as ecosystem. So what is an ecosystem? I told you that environment consists of biotic and abiotic components. We require certain biotic components, we require certain abiotic components. Where both these biotic and abiotic components come together, where both biotic and abiotic components interact with each other, that is something known as ecosystem. What are the biotic components? You can see in this image, it's an example of pond ecosystem. Here you will find certain living things, certain non-living things. So what are the living things here, sir? Living things here include the ducks you see here, the flowers, the plants, the algae. And non-living components include here are water, land, stones, etc. So these things, both living and non-living, require to interact with each other. UPSC factory, hello, how are you? So both these components, they need to interact with each other. See, life won't be possible for this pond ecosystem if it didn't have water, if it didn't have land, if it didn't have stone. So living components plus non-living components, both are required for life to be possible. This interaction between biotic and abiotic components together is known as ecosystem. So we have pond ecosystem, we have ocean ecosystem, we have land ecosystem. Suraj Pandit, namaste, how are you? So are we following it? We'll I'll summarize these things for you. I'm just giving you the overview of NCERTs. Then we have human environment. What is human environment? Sir, we as humans are staying, we are living in a settlement, we are living in a society, we are practicing agriculture, we were doing certain jobs. Somebody is practicing agriculture, somebody is doing business, somebody is into some profession. So all these things were required. Are we following it? So this gives us the overview of our what? This gives us the overview of our environment. That's what is being told in the NCERT textbook. Now I'll go back to our notes, which you need to remember here. What are these things which we need to remember? We'll go back to them. So Chapter 1, Environment. UPSC Factory. UPSC Factory, can I ask you your exact name? Because calling you UPSC Factory seems like I'm talking to a machine. So you are asking me, sir, NCERT के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताएं. See, sir, NCERT, it's not only me, everybody would tell you to read NCERTs. It is inevitable. See, you cannot avoid NCERTs while you are preparing for UPSC. You have to remember that thing ke we have to cover NCERTs from class 6 to 12th for each subject. We need to read NCERTs. And the problem here is that these books are very lengthy because 6th to 12th NCERTs are made or were meant for the student to cover in 6 to 7 years. So you are covering each NCERT per year, but here I need you to, or this exam needs you to cover these NCERTs at the earliest possible time. So are you following it? So that's why things become really complicated. Something that was meant to be learned over 6 to 7 years, I am asking you to learn it at the earliest. So that's why students get confused. But this is the need of the examination. We need to do it that way only. That's why I am bringing for you these summarized things here. What is happening is you need not to memorize, you need not to remember, you need not to read each and everything because I am summarizing the things for you. You simply have to go through these notes. So our discussion starts with the environment. What is environment? When we open our eyes, we step out of our house, there are certain things that we see around ourselves. Can you please tell me what are the things that you see around yourself? You see buildings, you see trees, you see birds. Each and everything that you see around yourself becomes the part of your environment. Environment has two components. One are the natural components and other are the man-made components. So what are the natural components you see around yourself? You see your parents, you see your friends, you see your neighbors, you see your relatives. So all of them, what are they become the natural environment of yours. So both natural and man-made environment are there. The natural components like plants, animals, here animals include social animals or humans also. So we had plants and animals, then we had land, water, air. These were living components and these were non-living components. So living components are known by the name biotic components. What is bio? The term biology you must have studied in school. So what is biology, sir? Biology is the study of life, how people live, what are the things associated with that. So bio term, whenever you come across this term bio, you need to remember that bio represents life. Are we following it? We need to understand, we need to remember that bio represents life. Any doubt up till here? Are we clear up till here? So living components are named as biotic components. Then we have non-living components also like land, air, water. They are also required, so they are abiotic. What happens is we require three basic abiotic components, that is what? Land, air and water. We talked about these in class also. Vikram Behara. Guys, I guess you are joining me for the first time. Earlier, I was giving you the premier lectures, but I wanted to interact with you guys so that I can take up a few of your doubts. Like if you have any doubt, you are absolutely free to ask me here. So what we were discussing is land. So we required land, we required air, we required water. For life to be possible on this earth, these were the three basic requirements. We call this land as what? Lithosphere. We call the air as atmosphere, and we call water as what? Hydrosphere. For life to be possible, we required these three things together. Do you think without even one of these is, if one of these is not present, will life be possible? Life is possible on earth because we got all three things. We had land, we had air, we had water. So these three things were required by us, only then the life became possible on this earth. So you must have studied the concept of sets in your school days. So we had land, air, and water, lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere, right? We required all three of them. Hello, IAS Yugal, Bikram. So Vikram, you want to attempt the exam in 2025. So the simplest possible approach is, I'll tell you that you start joining us on our regular classes. We will be covering each and everything of the UPSC syllabus. So by the time you are approaching to your attempt, we will be doing with each and everything that is important from exams perspective. Please subscribe to our channel at first. So what happened was, there was water, there was air, and there was land. So can you please tell me, looking at this, this was 1, 2, 3, and 4. In which particular portion the life would exist? Just have a look at the screen, on which of these three the life would be existing. Can you please tell me? Just let me know, please. Can you please tell me in which particular component the life will be existing? I told you just now only that we require all three. So the only place where all three are existing is this number one. That is where land is also there, water is also there, and air is also there. So this particular region where life exists is known as what? Biosphere. So because of land, water, and air, we get humans, we get animals, we get living beings around us. So lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere are the four major domains that together give rise to biosphere, and these four domains become the important part of our environment. What is lithosphere, sir? Lithosphere is the solid part of the earth, or the outermost layer on which we stay. Here we have landforms like mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys. Here we construct buildings, we make roads, everything we are doing on lithosphere. Then there is hydrosphere, which is the domain of water. So what do we have in water? We have rivers, lakes, seas, oceans, ponds, etc. When we are talking about water bodies, when we are moving in seas, when we are doing talking about marine activities, all these things, they come under what? They come under our hydrosphere. Then there is another layer that consists of gases around us. They include air, so we call it as what? We call it as atmosphere. So water was required, we had hydrosphere. Land was required, we had lithosphere. And air was required, we required certain gases to live, for example oxygen. And this atmosphere, it protected us from harmful rays and scorching heat of the sun. Atmosphere restricts the arrival of heat radiation from the sun. If the entire heat radiations as they are coming from the sun, if they were able to reach our body, we would have been burnt, or we would have undergone serious skin related issues. But we have been protected by this atmosphere, because this atmosphere, you must have heard of ozone layer. So ozone layer and this entire atmosphere together, they restricts the entry of certain rays which could be harmful for humans and the living beings on the earth. So that's why all these three things together, they make sure that we are able to live happily. So biosphere, we call it as, what is biosphere? I told you that three things together are interacting, and the portion where all three of them are available, we call it as biosphere. So it is the narrow zone of interaction. In narrow zone of interaction means, here we have land also, water also, and air also. All these three interact with each other, and they support life. Only because of these, in this interaction, the life is possible. We call it as what? We call it as biosphere. Are we following it? Any doubt up till here? You are please free to ask me. See, I started, or I decided to go for live classes only for a reason, that I can take up your doubts. Vikram Behra, IAS Yugal, Suraj Pandit. Are we clear up till here? Okay, thank you. So then there is something known as ecosystem. What is ecosystem? We need to understand it. Around our environment, we had certain living beings and certain non-living beings. What are living beings? Living beings like plants, animals, right? We can say insects also, but more or less they are covered in plants and animals. So all these were living beings. Then we had land, water, air, and interaction of these two. Can life be possible if we just have plants and animals and no land, water and air? No sir, not possible. So these two things go hand in hand. We had these biotic components and we had these abiotic components. For life to be possible, biotic and abiotic components have to come together. The moment they come together, they give rise to something known as ecosystem. The example of living organisms is fish, duck. So fish and duck, they require water. They require water bodies, they require ocean floors or river beds. So they required part of land also, they required certain air also. So together, when living and non-living components came, they gave rise to something known as what? Water ecosystem or pond ecosystem. So if you go and have a look in the pond, you will find water, you will find some stones, you will find the floor of the pond, that is the land. Then you find certain plants, maybe algae or something like that. You find fish, you find duck, you find other living organisms. So you have biotic components also, you have abiotic components also. The point at which these biotic and abiotic components interact with each other, that is what is known as ecosystem. So we have marine ecosystem, we have land ecosystem. Are we following it? We have forest ecosystem. So we have land ecosystem. So we have living component here, land, we have water, we have air, then we have plants, we have trees, we have humans, we have animals, we have insects. So these were biotic components. So the ecosystem, you need to remember, biotic plus abiotic components. Together they form something known as ecosystem. Are we clear up till here? Any doubt up till here, you can please ask me. You remember while we were discussing NCERT textbook, the chapter number 1, I gave you the example of pond that was already given in the NCERT. So in order to make things more clear to you, NCERT give you certain images we have discussed. So that way it helps us to understand the things. Now that's why somebody asked me, sir, what is the importance of reading NCERT? Is it's that when you go and read the textbooks, you may find a term like ecosystem. That would be possible to understand ecosystem only if you have studied the basics of ecosystem. So are we following what is an ecosystem? There can be large ecosystems like rainforest, grassland, desert, mountains, lake, river, ocean, or even a small pond. If you have a small aquarium at your house, na, many people keep aquarium at their house. So you have small fishes, you feed them, you have certain small plants there, you have small algae, then you have that glass slab. So it again consists of living and non-living things. So that small aquarium at your house also is an ecosystem, because ecosystem demands only two things. We need to have biotic and abiotic components. They need to come together, they need to interact with each. Then we have human environment. What is human environment? Human is like people like me and you, and environment is the our surroundings. So what happens is, when individuals, when living beings, when men and women, they interact with their surroundings, when they interact with their environment, this forms the human environment. So humans adopt themselves to their natural surroundings. So we see what is happening around us. If there is summer, we tend to wear clothes that keep us cool. We tend to avoid the sun rays. We tend to keep ourselves cool. And the other way around, if it's winter's time, so what we do during winters, we try to keep ourselves warm. We will wear warm clothes, we'll try to get sunlight. So this way we are adapting to our natural surroundings. During rain time, we need a shelter. During in normal conditions, we require food and water. So we are adopting, we are trying to fulfill our needs from our surroundings. That is what forms the human environment. So what happened? Humans came to the earth. Gradually, they started leading a settled life. They started domesticating animals, leading a settled life. Then humans saw the coming of agriculture. Humans decided to practice agriculture. This, with the start of agriculture, Vikram Behra, all these things you see on the screen, I'll be providing you the PDFs. You can simply go to Telegram and join our channel IAS Icons. On Telegram, you can join this channel by the name IAS Icons. I'll be providing the PDFs. You have to remember these things only, these pointers which I have given you. Every time you come and revise the NCERTs, you just have to read these notes. Following it? So we earliest if you'll follow me on this IS Icons channel on YouTube, we are discussing about history also. So at 3 p.m. we have our history class. So after this at 3 p.m. you will be joining me live for our history NCERT class. So in history discussion, I talked about that earlier. Humans were hunters and gatherers. They were not staying at one place. They would move from place to place. They would gather fruits. They would hunt animals. But gradually they started practicing agriculture, and agriculture is something that gives you the yield after some time. It's not that you sow a crop today and tomorrow morning you get the fruit of it, or the crop gets ripening. It requires some time. Maybe if you sow a crop today, within 5 to 6 months the crop is ready to be harvested. So these earliest people that decided that since we have sown the crop, now we have to stay here for next 5 to 6 months only, then we'll be able to harvest this crop. This led to settled life. Once they started leading a settled life, they decided that earlier they were moving from place to place to hunt animals or to collect animal produce like milk and eggs. So they decided, why to run after the animals, let's keep animals with ourselves, and they started domesticating animals. Then that was the basic start of human civilization. Gradually people learned about industrial revolution. They started transporting. Then we had information revolution, we had communication coming up, and gradually the entire world came connected to each other. But sir, the environment that we have that gave us life on the first chance, today we are destroying that environment with the through deforestation and industrialization. Environment is our basic life support system, sir. Life is possible only because of the environment. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, everything is the part of environment. We have natural environment, we have abiotic and biotic components. The living components are known as biotic, the non-living components are known as abiotic. Sir, that is the entire discussion for your chapter number 1, class 7th NCERT for the subject geography. Are we clear? Are we clear with it? So these were the things that we need to understand. Very basic things. You may find it really easy that, sir, are we being asked such simple questions? But remember, sir, this is 7th class NCERT. 7th class NCERT means a student of somewhere of the age 11 to 12 years is reading it. So it is meant for a student whose age is 10 to 11 years. That's why the basic, simplest possible things are mentioned here. Gradually, when we proceed further with the higher classes, the things would get bit complicated. It's not that it's very complicated, very basic things are given, but these things we need to know, we need to understand. Only then we will be able to read about the syllabus of UPSC. See, UPSC allows people from different streams. Somebody may be from humanities background, somebody is from medical background, somebody is an engineer, somebody is a doctor. So all these people, they come together irrespective of the fact the subjects they have been studying in their own domains. That's why we are asked to read NCERTs, that tomorrow when we go and appear in the UPSC examination, we get a level playing field. Everybody who will read NCERT, he'll get to know what is environment, what is abiotic, what is biotic, what is ecosystem. That's why that level playing field is built with the help of NCERTs. And there are majority of questions that are asked at times directly from the NC. I hope we are clear with it. I hope you like this classes. I was giving you the premier classes, but I decided to interact with all of you. That's why we have started with the live classes. So you can join me every day at 1 p.m. for live class of NCERT for the subject geography. And simultaneously, you can join me at 3 p.m. for history. Apart from that, at 5 p.m. you can join me for some current related issues on our channel UPSC 101. And at 7 p.m. I have a special class on our application. So all those who haven't installed Unacademy app till now, simply install the app, go to the free live class option, you will be able to access free live class that I'll be taking at 7 p.m. So that's my schedule for next few days that are upcoming, so you can join me in all those. You need to enroll with us in the optionals, you need to enroll with us in our plus and iconic subscriptions, because that's how you will be able to qualify this examination. You need to enroll with us in plus and iconic subscriptions using this code IAS Icons. You enroll in any course at Unacademy, remember to use this code IAS Icons, because this code will fetch you maximum possible discounts. For all those who have joined me for the first time, I request you to be present in the upcoming classes. Also subscribe to our channel, drop your valuable feedback in comment section. Thank you very much, all the best, keep working hard, bye bye, take care, Jai Hind.